Hi, my name's Catherine O'Mahony. I'm a school and college engagement officer from the University of Exeter. I'm actually based in London and I'm originally from London, and a big part of my work is talking to students from London schools and colleges. So today's session is aimed at people who are considering the University of Exeter. However, if you're still not sure at all which universities you're interested in and you're just in the early days of researching different universities, this should still be useful for you because it'll start giving you things to think about when you're comparing different universities. So we're going to cover a range of different things today. We'll cover the kinds of courses we offer, as well as degree apprenticeships, the application process and entry requirements, but I'll also look at the kind of support that we offer at the university and the kinds of things that you can get up to in your spare time while you're a student with us as well. We are a Russell Group university. We're based in the southwest of England in the counties of Devon and Cornwall. We're generally in the top 10 to 20% of the UK and international league tables. In the most recent Teaching Excellence Framework, which is also known as TEF, we achieved a solid gold award, which means we achieved gold overall, and we also achieved gold across the main categories of the assessment. And we were one of only 4 Russell Group universities to do that, alongside Oxford, Cambridge and Warwick. So we were pretty pleased about that. We're well known for being a very sporty university. We're the top sports university in the south of England. We're also well known for pioneering climate change research. We're home to some of the world's top climate change scientists. Something else students tend to like about us is a lot of our courses are pretty flexible, and I'll talk more about that shortly. And we're also in a really beautiful part of the country and have very beautiful and apparently Instagrammable campuses. And now I'm going to show you a short video which gives you more of a flavour of what we're about.
You can feel it here. From the people and the places to finding your place. This is where it's all possible. Because while everyone else talks about a better tomorrow, we're committed to making it happen. And you can be part of it. You can be part of this. When you're part of the University of Exeter, you'll help make the world greener, healthier, and fairer. You'll know that green is more than the colour we wear. We live by it. You'll stand as proud on the pitches as you will in our labs, studios, and lecture theatres. In fact, you'll take that feeling everywhere you go, because everywhere is where our commitment to a better future is coming to life. You'll join the pursuit of new knowledge. You'll find your voice and you will be heard. Our education welfare team and well-being service ensure that mental health support is available when our students need it, so that they can continue to thrive. When you're part of this place and this community, our shared values become part of you, woven into who you are and what you achieve. Whether you're reaching out with the country's largest university volunteering society, or you're digging deep into inequalities and how we can resolve them. Together, we will lead the way to a green, fair, and socially just future. And that feeling of knowing it's all possible, that's what it feels like to be part of the University of Exeter.
This shows our location. So we have 2 campuses in the city of Exeter, which is in Devon, and then we have a campus in Penryn, which is in Cornwall. And you can see that they probably look fairly far from London on the map, but actually we do have high-speed trains. So you can get from London Paddington to Exeter in just over 2 hours, and you can get to Penryn, which is on the same train line, in just over 4 hours. So when you're researching universities away from home, generally, don't just look at a map. Do research how long it takes to get there by road or by train, however you're going to get there, because that's actually more important than how far away it looks. So some of you may already be sure that you want to move away from home in London and study somewhere else for university. Some of you might still be thinking about it, and obviously you have to make the right decision for you. But I just want to go through some possible reasons you might want to study outside of London before I talk a little bit more about Exeter. So one reason, of course, is to be more independent, because you're living away from home, then you might be cooking for yourself and you might be paying your own bills, that kind of thing. But also if you're moving to a new place, it's a chance to broaden your horizons, meet new people, and maybe experience a lifestyle that you haven't experienced before. And that will involve stepping out of your comfort zone, which will also improve your confidence. Some other things that you might want to consider are the cost of living, because different parts of the country have different cost of living. So, and that's something that you can research on the internet. You also might want to consider the air quality as well. We do have quite a bit of pollution in London, but there are other parts of the country where the air is a lot cleaner. It is cleaner in Exeter. That is something I do notice when I visit, and even more so in Cornwall. Also, crime rates. London doesn't have the highest crime rates in the country, but there are some areas that have pretty high crime rates. So you might want to go somewhere where you feel safer. Exeter's a pretty safe city, and again, Cornwall is as well. And you also might want to consider a relaxed pace of life, or a more relaxed pace of life, because London is a very fast-paced global city, and it might be that you want to try somewhere that's a bit more slow, that you might feel that might benefit your mental health. So just a few things to think about there. The other thing to consider is that going to university can potentially be a way to try something different. You don't necessarily have to stay there. You might be just there for 3 years or so for the length of your degree, and it might be that you decide to just go back to London afterwards, or some people do stay in their university area as well, but it's just a chance to try something. I'm now going to talk a little bit more about our campuses whilst showing a video of them. I'm going to start off with our campuses in Exeter. So as I mentioned, we've got 2 campuses in Exeter. The largest one is called the Streatham campus, not to be confused with Streatham in southwest London. It is in Exeter. So that's where most of our courses are based, and there's lots of great facilities as well. It's also got really beautiful parkland and gardens and even lakes there. It has a huge building called the Forum, which is the heart of the campus, and that's got cafes and shops and student services and the main library there. We've got a really big sports park, which has got various pitches and outdoor pool, and a fitness centre which has over 200 stations. We've even got a theatre on that campus and a cinema museum. That's kind of on the edge of the city of Exeter, but it's still only a 15-minute walk from the main train station and also the city centre as well. And then our second campus in Exeter is St Luke's, and that one's the smaller campus. It's more historic. There's about 4,000 students there in total, so everyone tends to know everyone. That's where our healthcare courses are based, so medicine, radiography and nursing, and also our postgraduate teacher training courses as well. That's recently had a building called the Cross Keys building refurbished. 1.7 million was spent on that, and that has provided students with a great communal space where they can eat, study and socialise. And that also has other facilities as well, as alongside the teaching spaces. It's got its own library, its own sports centre and gym, and its own indoor swimming pool. And whichever one of those campuses you're studying at in Exeter, you're also welcome to use all the facilities across the other campus. They are about 15 minutes apart, so it's pretty easy to get between campuses. And there's a free bus that you can use as well that the university puts on. Moving on to Penryn, our Cornwall campus. That's really quite unique because that's in a coastal town. It's set in 100 acres of the UK's most beautiful countryside. There's some really stunning buildings there. It's also unique because we share that campus with Falmouth University, which specialises in the creative industries. So that makes the mix of students even more diverse and vibrant. There's about 6,000 students there in total. There's a particularly huge emphasis on the environment and sustainability at this campus, and you'll see these themes running throughout all of the degree programmes, the student societies, which I'll talk more about later, and also how the campus is run. So a bit more about the local areas, so beyond the campus, starting with Exeter. This is quite a small city. It's about the same size as Cambridge. Smaller cities are a bit different from London because where London's such a huge global city, it tends to have a range of different centres where you can find shopping and arts venues and nightlife. But if you're in a smaller city, there's normally just one main centre, which is what Exeter's like. So that means that's where everybody goes for shopping and nightlife, etc. So it still gets lively, but it also means you're more likely to bump into people that you know. Smaller cities can be easier to get around as well. I mentioned that most things in Exeter are walking distance, but there is local buses and local trains. And I also mentioned that the free bus that the uni runs between the campuses as well. It's kind of like the capital of Devon, really, Exeter. It's in the heart of Devon. It's got a really lovely cathedral with a green around it that's nice for relaxing when the weather's nice. There's also a quay area, which is a beautiful waterside area where, again, there's lots of bars and restaurants and nice places to walk. There's also beaches nearby. You can get a train to the beach for like a few quid. So that's a really good thing to do in your spare time. And similarly, Dartmoor National Park is really beautiful and nearby. Penryn is a coastal town, as I said, so that's quieter. You're less likely to find like well-known chain stores like Nando's or JD Sports. You're more likely to find smaller independent businesses, which can be quite unique and quirky. And if you do want to see some like chain stores and chain restaurants, there is a city nearby, which is called Truro, and that's only about 20 minutes away by train. People tend to get involved in like water sports there as well because it is a coastal town, so lots of people try surfing and things like that when they're there. We have over 30,000 students in total at the University of Exeter from over 150 countries. 22,000 of those are undergraduate students, so they're doing their first degree after sixth form or college. 7,000 of students are international, so they come from outside of the UK. We've also got over 6,000 staff. We offer a really big range of courses. We've got over 400 programs, and these are grouped into 3 faculties, which you can see on the slide. And what you can see underneath each faculty, that's not individual courses, that's actual departments. So each department has a range of courses within it. A lot of our courses offer opportunities for studying abroad and also work placements. So these would add an extra year to your degree. We don't only offer traditional degrees, we're also a leading Russell Group provider of degree apprenticeships. This is where you work and you get paid and get a recognised university degree at the same time. We offer about 18 degree apprenticeships in total, but there are 5 main ones that are most suited for school and college leavers, and they are civil engineering, digital and technology solutions, financial services, accounting finances manager, and project manager. And if you're interested in any of those, then you can just Google Exeter degree apprenticeships and you should be able to get more information about them. In terms of how we teach, a lot of it is similar to how most universities teach. So there are a range of teaching methods. You will have lectures in big lecture theatres. You'll have tutorials, which are like one-to-one or small group meetings with a tutor. You might have seminars, which are more like the classroom lessons that you're used to at college. You might have workshops or field work or field trips, which are more of a practical way to apply your learning. You also might get office hours, which is where university academics enable you to make an appointment to speak to them one-to-one. And something that's really important at university is your own independent learning as well, either on your own or with small groups. What we believe at Exeter is in breaking down traditional barriers between academic subjects and courses, and that means that some of the bigger problems that the world is dealing with can be considered from different perspectives, and that's reflected in the flexibility of our courses. So most courses offer free choice modules, which mean you can study a subject outside of your own subject. We also have a unique course called Flexible Combined Honours, or FCH, and that lets you combine any 2 or sometimes 3 subjects as long as the timetables fit and as long as you meet the entry requirements. So basically you can build your own degree. We offer natural sciences, which is a really flexible science course where you study all the different sciences, that includes maths and computer science, and then you can specialise as you go through the course. And we offer liberal arts, which is like an American model where you have one major subject, but you also study a range of minor subjects as well. We have really great facilities. The fact that we're a Russell Group research intensive university, that means we have some leading academics doing great research, and you'll be learning some of that directly from them. But that also means we have great facilities. We have libraries that are open 24/7 with more than 1 million printed books and 1.2 million ebooks. We have lots of learning spaces for quiet or small group study, and that has all the facilities you might need as well, like power sockets and Wi-Fi. And there are also subject-specific learning facilities as well. So, for example, if you were studying drama, then there are rehearsal studios and costume collections as well. As I mentioned, we're a Russell Group research intensive university, so that means that our academics are undertaking important world leading research, which is all about improving our lives and improving society. And we've been really highly rated for our research. Areas that we're particularly known for is climate change, which I already mentioned, but also human health and well-being. So, for example, we're particularly noted for our research on dementia and diabetes. And we also do a lot of research on social justice. For example, the role of women in society, the treatment of LGBTQ plus communities by science and society, and also how racism is manifested through history and how that reverberates today. University is partly about investing in your future, and we offer you a lot of support with what you're going to do after university. We have an award-winning career service that offers a huge range of support. So this includes employability modules on all degree programs. We have dedicated employability and career consultants who offer one-to-one guidance and workshops, and they will have particular job areas that they specialise in or subject areas that they specialise in. We offer superb work experience opportunities. I did mention that a lot of our courses offer the chance to do a year of work experience, but even outside of that, there's lots of opportunities to undertake volunteering or internships, for example. We've got links with thousands of employers, and over 95% of our students undertake some kind of work experience through their degree. We also offer free access to a range of career platforms and resources. There are mentoring schemes. There are other careers events like career fairs and opportunities to speak to employers. Yeah, lots and lots out there. And this isn't only available to you while you're a student at the university, but you can also still access this after you graduate and actually for the rest of your life. We also offer a great deal of support, and we realise that that's a really important part of university. So everybody will have access to their own personal or academic tutor, which is like your key contact to oversee your progress at university, and they can also signpost you to other services if you need extra support. We have campus GP surgeries that focus on student needs. We have a wellbeing team who offer a range of psychological therapies and counselling, workshops, self-help services, support for students with mental health issues, and advice on a range of wellbeing concerns. And these services can be accessed in person, by phone, or online. And there's also urgent support available outside normal working hours. And we have support tailored for the needs of specific groups, such as multicultural counselling. And all of these services are confidential. We offer disability support, so this could include additional academic support or equipment to help you with your studies. Our wellbeing team also offers support in university managed accommodation as well. There's a peer mentoring program, so you can get informal support from a student who's like further down the path than you. We have a multi-faith chaplaincy on all sites, and that's for students of all faiths or no faith, and that includes spaces to worship or meditate. There's a range of financial support as well, which all universities offer, but it does differ, so you will need to research this on different university websites. So that's in addition to the student loans that you can get from the government to cover your tuition fees and also towards your living costs. So most universities will offer some kind of bursary, which is an amount that doesn't have to be paid back, and that goes to students who meet particular criteria, which does vary across universities. We offer something called the Access to Exeter bursary, and that's for students from low income backgrounds. When you apply for your government student finance, there is a box you can tick to say that you're happy for your household income information to be shared with universities. And it is a good idea to tick that, because it means that we would automatically assess you for that Access to Exeter bursary, so you can receive that without even needing to apply for it. We do also offer other bursaries for students in particular circumstances, for example, care leavers, asylum seekers and refugees, and students with caring responsibilities. And it's not only about bursaries, there is other types of financial support available. So for example, care leavers can get a tuition fee waiver, which means they don't have to pay any tuition fees at all. And they might also get support with accommodation costs. There's also hardship funds, and rather than being something that you're assessed for before you start university, this is something that you might need if you fall into unexpected hardship during your degree. So ours is called the Success for All Fund, and that was particularly useful during the COVID-19 lockdowns, because as you can imagine, some students might have lost part-time jobs because the business had to close down, or their families lost work, and so this Success for All Fund actually prevented quite a lot of students from having to drop out of university. As well as bursaries and hardship funds and fee waivers, there are also scholarships offered by universities, and rather than being about you meeting certain criteria to do with your needs, these are more about academic or sporting excellence. Different universities offer different scholarships. We offer a few different ones, but one of the ones we're best known for is our prestigious sports scholarship programme. As I said, we're a very sporty university, so we have some leading international athletes studying with us who are in receipt of those scholarships. We also offer a range of paid work for students. So for example, we have a very large student ambassador program, and that's where current students work for us, and they might attend careers fairs and events or help out with open days. And that's quite flexible, and it's pretty well paid, as well as helping you to develop great skills that you can put on your CV. And students also work in like some of the cafes and other venues that are on our campuses as well. We have a huge range of accommodation, and we guarantee university accommodation to new first year undergraduate students, and it's all either on campus or within a short walk of campus, like 15 minutes walk maximum. And we're building a lot of new accommodation at the moment. So you might have read that some universities are running out of accommodation, but we should have enough, plenty to go around. And there's a range of accommodation to suit different budgets as well. So we offer catered accommodation, which means your main meals are provided. And we also offer self-catered, which means that there's kitchen facilities and you can buy and prepare your own meals. And then there are also some accommodation where you might be sharing a room or sharing a bathroom, or some where you're not sharing, and that will affect the prices as well. All our accommodation has 24/7 security. I mentioned that there is actually welfare support in the accommodation as well. It's furnished, there's Wi-Fi, there's cleaning and repair services, there's laundry facilities and bike storage, and there's supermarkets and shops nearby as well. In the second year, many students move on to private accommodation once they've made friends, but we can also offer support with finding that. Every university has what's called a student union, which is a bit like a school or college council. They're run by staff who've been elected by students, and they're either students who recently graduated or they're taking a year out. So what that means is that the people who work for the Students' Union have first-hand recent experience of student life and what you're dealing with. Student unions do lots of different things. So one thing is that they host clubs and societies. We host over 400 student clubs and societies across our campuses. And these cater for a huge range of interests, activities, communities, cultures and faiths. So just to give you some examples, we've got societies dedicated to yoga, football, fundraising, hip hop, political parties, LGBTQ+ students, Pokemon, sailing, belly dancing, feminism, African Caribbean students, Muslim students, anime and manga, debating and hide and seek. So quite a lot there and quite a range, as you can see. The student unions also represent student rights and act as the voice of students. So that means that they can represent your rights and opinions to the university management, as well as the rest of the country and the government via the National Union of Students. In addition, student unions also offer advice services covering a range of issues like accommodation and finances. So the university offers its own advice services, but the student union also does as well. So that's even more places that you can go for different types of support. I mentioned that we're a very sporty part of university. I mentioned that we've got some top athletes studying with us, but we encourage everybody to get involved in sport and fitness as part of student life, just for your own well-being. We've got over 50 sports clubs and intramural sport leagues, and we've invested a lot into our sports facilities. Moving on to applying for to the University of Exeter, you probably know that you apply to university through UCAS, which stands for the Universities and Colleges Admission Service, and that's the same whether you're a home or an international student. So UCAS basically coordinate everything and they forward your application to your chosen universities. The UCAS form usually first opens in May of year 12, so that's when you can start registering and you can start filling out parts of the application form, and then you can submit it from September at the beginning of year 13. And you submit one online form, which includes a one-page written personal statement, and that's gets forwarded to all of the universities you apply for, which is normally up to 5. This just shows a timeline of the application process. So towards the end of year 12 is when you'd be starting to really research different universities and different university courses. You might be starting to complete information on the UCAS form. In the summer holidays at the end of year 12, you might want to write your personal statement, or at least start drafting your personal statement. Then, as I said, you can submit the form from September. Some courses like medicine, which we offer, dentistry, veterinary science have an early deadline in mid-October, as do courses at Oxford and Cambridge. And then the main UCAS deadline is the end of January, but your college may well give you an earlier deadline because they will also have to provide a reference for you on the course. Once that deadline has passed, universities start making offers to students. They have a deadline to do that for most courses by the middle of May, and then you have to respond to those offers and make a firm choice and an insurance choice, so like a plan A and a plan B. And then results day comes in August, and that's when things usually get confirmed. In terms of entry requirements, these vary across universities a lot, and they can also vary across courses. So it's really, really important that you check entry requirements for every university and every course that you want to apply for. You can probably guess from what I've already said that Exeter is quite a competitive university. So a lot of our courses have some quite high entry requirements and receive a lot of applications. And that's particularly for courses like medicine or law. We publish all of our entry requirements on our web pages, and they're also on the UCAS website, but you'll get the most detailed information on our web pages. These do change each year, so do make sure you're getting the most up-to-date information. When we're considering applications, we will look at your achieved academic performance, so that means your GCSEs or equivalent, and we'll have entry requirements related to that. We'll also look at your predicted academic performance in your A-levels or equivalent, and that is what is most important to us at the University of Exeter, and that's very important to most universities. But there are also other requirements, like I did mention the personal statement that students complete as part of their UCAS application. We don't place as much emphasis on that, or the reference that you get from your teachers, but we will always read them, and we may use them in our selection process if we are struggling to choose between different students. Having said that, some other universities do put a lot of weight on the personal statement. So that does vary. So do check with different universities because they will explain on their website how they select students. But either way, it does mean that your personal statement could be the difference between you being chosen and somebody else. So it is an important document that you should put a lot of effort into, and do be prepared to go through different drafts of it as well. Some courses will have subject-specific requirements and some won't. So just to give you an example, with us for law or sociology or for business courses, we don't mind what subjects you did for A-levels or equivalent. We'll just look at the grades. But then there are other courses where subjects are important. So for example, for medicine, we asked for 3 A's, including biology and chemistry. And that can vary across universities as well, but it is very important to check it. We don't accept general studies A-level. Some universities do, some don't. So again, that's something to check. There might be other entry requirements depending on the course you're doing. So for example, if you study medicine, you would normally have to do an admissions test and you'd normally have to attend an interview. There would also be a police DBS check because you're going to be working with vulnerable adults as part of your clinical placement. If you're doing a performing arts course, you might need to attend an audition. If you're applying for an art or design course, you might need to submit a portfolio of your work. So do make sure you're checking all of the entry requirements for your course. In terms of the offers we make, so if you apply to us before the UCAS deadline at the end of January, then we will respond to you by the middle of May. UCAS actually do set a deadline for this, and different factors can affect how long it takes for universities to make you an offer or respond to your application. So if you find that your friends are hearing before you, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they've been successful and you haven't. You just have to wait to the deadline because it does vary by university and by course. What we normally make, if you haven't sat your A-level or equivalent yet, you haven't got those grades yet, then when we make you an offer, it will be what's called a conditional offer. So it will be on the condition that you achieve particular grades. We don't make unconditional offers before you've sat your A-levels or equivalent. We will never do that. You might hear of some universities doing that, but we don't. It's also worth looking at whether universities make reduced offers in some circumstances. So for example, we do, if you are studying core maths or the EPQ, the extended project qualification, and you achieve an A in one of those, then we would make you an offer that's reduced by 1 grade. And that's because we recognise that core maths and the EPQ help you gain skills that are really useful for university. You might have also heard of contextual offers. Contextual offers are basically in recognition of the fact that some students have more advantages than others that impact on their education. And this is about levelling the playing field and making sure that everybody has the same shot at going to a university based on their potential. So contextual offers are made based on different criteria. This can vary by university, but common criteria you might see are what postcode area you live in. So if you live in a postcode where there's a lot of deprivation or where a lot of people don't go to university, then you might be eligible for a contextual offer on that basis. There are also other criteria as well. For us, if you've been in care, you'd be entitled to a contextual offer. If you've been on free school meals, if you're a refugee or asylum seeker, and also if you've taken part in one of our widening participation programmes, such as Exeter Scholars or the Elephant Group Residential or our Seren programme. Again, these all differ across different universities, but I've got an example of one of our offers on the screen here. So this is for psychology. You can see that if you study psychology, our usual offer is 3 A's. However, the contextual offer is ABB, so we've dropped it by 2 grades. Do check our course web pages though, because this does differ. So for example, if you apply for medicine, As I said, our medicine entry requirement is 3 A's, including biology and chemistry, but we would still want A's for the biology and chemistry, so we would drop the 2 grades off the 3rd A level, so it would become ACC. But every single one of our course pages will explain that very clearly, and that's actually a screenshot from our course page there. Okay, so that is basically it. I just wanted to mention a few things that we offer that may be of interest. Through our Discover University brand, we offer free online events for prospective students all year round. The next one we've got coming up is called Your Journey to HE Why Exeter, which is on the 22nd of June 2024. And that is if you want even more detail about the University of Exeter and you want to hear from some of our students and from some of our other staff as well. But we will have things come up throughout the year. So if you're interested in that, then do feel free to scan the QR code, and that will take you to our Discover University webpage, as well as lists of upcoming events. There's also free resources on there, and we also have regular competitions as well, like essay competitions. We do have regular open days. We have some usually at the end of May and early June, and usually during October half term. These do tend to get booked up quickly. So if you're interested in attending an open day, then you can just Google Exeter Open Days, and that should take you to the webpage with the booking form. If you'd like to sign up to our mailing list, then you can scan this QR code on the screen, and that means you'll get lots of information about Exeter, you'll get hints and tips about applying to us, and you'll also be entered into a prize draw to win a hoodie. And that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that was useful.